Hello and good evening. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. This is Esther from Creations. Why am I laughing? I'm laughing because they say that all the time. I was thinking of a new intro to make it a bit more exciting and it didn't happen. Sorry. My intros usually get fluffed up anyway. It's all part of the process. Welcome. Hello. Thanks for joining me. So today we're going to be making up some cards with some mixed media experiments that I did yesterday. So if you want to catch that, I got to what I made, and I'm going to throw it together and make some cards tonight. So you'd be pleased to know I'm not going to be there spending ages going through my scraps. I've already kind of grabbed out some stuff from my scrap drawer and we're going to compile things together. So hopefully I'm going to talk you through the process, talk you through maybe what I've changed, why I chose those things, what I needed to add, because sometimes particularly beginners, crafters and card makers go, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why that looks good and why that doesn't. So I'm hoping in the process of showing you what I do, I'll be able to explain why I do it. That's the hope. So do share this broadcast out, please, to your friends and family and loved ones, so that they can share the experience with you. And if you're not already, you can hit subscribe, and if you press the bell, it notifies you when I come on live. You might want to wait to the end to do that, to decide. So I'm just going to do a quick roll call and say hello to everybody that's coming on to the live chat and saying hello to me right this second. If you're catching this on replay, sometimes it just takes a little while for the live chat button to appear. When it does appear, it means that you can see what's going on and what's been chatted about. So hello, Jenny, Christine, Sheila, Steph, Ellie, Janice, Gina, Melanie, Anne-Marie and Steffi. See, there are people watching, honest. And Cindy. Cindy's always busy. Cindy was getting caught up in sweeping the craft area. Okie dokes, let's turn you around. See, I left my button off the camera in order to press the turn around button. So this is one of the things that we made yesterday, and it's all textured because we used some textured paste, and the colours on this have come out really vibrant and strong. Now I'm going to start off really nice and easy. Because there's a lot of things going on in this background, I decided this doesn't need a lot of things to cover it over. And in fact, we're just going to keep it super simple. I wanted to use this bird, nice black and white, and I thought we've got our pop of colour, so I'm going to introduce this black and white bird to the mix. If I popped it straight down there, it gets a little bit lost in the picture, but by introducing a border of black behind it, it just helps it to pop and it gives it a focal point. I've got a sneeze coming on. Oh, I hope this isn't going to be the start of me sneezing my way through this, because it gets a bit distracting otherwise. Now, the other thing that I can do now is to add another little pop of colour and a little accent flower. So to be honest, I think that's all it needs. You can go ahead. Thank you, everyone saying bless you, bless you. So I'm using my glue of choice, which is this Tom multi-purpose liquid glue, which is rather fantastic. It means I've got a chance to wiggle around my project until it sticks fast after about 10 seconds. And what else was I going to say? Can't remember. I think I wanted to say that on all these cards you can add sentiment. Sometimes it's quite nice to have some plain cards in your stash, so that if you suddenly needed one for an occasion, you've got it there. And particularly these sort of cards, they could be suitable for, well, I suppose if you put a flower on it, I don't know. Now, I could pop him in the middle, but I don't know why, I like him off to the left. Welcome, Kay, thank you for joining us. And I'm going to keep these flat at the moment, so then it doesn't cause too much trouble popping it in the post. Black card, it's worth popping an insert inside. I tend to cut these down beforehand because sometimes I often use these for the front of my cards. So if you want to know what the measurement is, it's 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. Ellie says she prefers things to be off-centre too. I think it just very much depends, doesn't it? Hi there, Sharon, welcome. I'm really sorry. I know it's disgusting, but I've got to blow my nose. Sorry, it's either that or sniff. And I was quickly rewatching a video I did the other week, and I was sniffing my way. I was thinking, that's disgusting. Who's going to want to watch that? Card, done, 1. Card 1 done. Actually, this, oh yes, this is the background. I was like, I didn't do this yesterday. We created this spotty background, again, with that gorgeous texture paste, so it's slightly raised. And I wanted to feature these birds I coloured in ages ago from a stamp set, and I wanted to show that because the birds are quite generic, you can make them into British garden birds. So I chose a robin, a blue tit, a bullfinch, maybe, chaffinch. And then you've seen the arrangement already. I've torn this down for a bit of effect, for a border. These guys are going to sit on top, and then I've got this big circle. Now, because it's been cut off, Ellie says, this reminds me of the card I made for my son's birthday last week. Ah, hi there, Sharon. So I could emulate sunshine, so I could have the birds there. And then I found this bit of lace, which I don't know whether to pop it in. Just under there, just to add. Oh, you don't want to go, do you? Might not need it. Should we get rid of the lace? Let's get rid of the lace. Instead, we're going to bring on, if you can find it, some twine. So again, I've gone to the left, and then I don't know why, just did. You can add little detail by tearing. Now the other thing is focal points. So I think the way that I sorted out my scraps was have a background piece, have a focal point, can I add a circle? And then think about whether you can add a strip. And that's, you know, a good kind of go-to way of doing things. Right, let's get this stuck down. I'm going to get the strip stuck down along the bottom first, then we can sort out the rest. What is a handy tool is this silicone mat. Any kind of gluing can go onto this mat and it saves any mess. So this is ever so slightly short on my project, but that's okay. Hi there, April. Steph says, good job, I have card stashes and has had to pull one out for my son's birthday tomorrow. Quick! Got a birthday tomorrow. Now, before I go and stick this down, I'm going to just grab a piece of white card to see if this layer fits. Okay, so I could choose green, I could choose a bluey colour. Let's just audition a few other colours here. I think whenever I chose a green, it looked a bit, just doesn't look right. What about that colour? Coastal Cabana. Do love me a bit of coastal. Let's just try one more, tone it down a little bit. No, I quite like the strong blue colour. I think let's step it up with a bit of bright colour in the background and use this. So this is Coastal Cabana, which is a lovely bright turquoisey blue. Now I'm going to stick the sunshine to this so that I can make sure that my straight line I've got on the circle doesn't show through where I don't want it, and I've got a bit of a smudge there. That's okay. All right, so just think about different focal points. So tell me what you've been up to today, everybody, and I'll see if I can catch your comments while I stick. So this is very much a sticking session, I'm afraid. Well, I shouldn't apologise, I decided to do the video. So I've just got a tiny bit of overhang there. Just going to grab my scissors. Now you could cut this off with a trimmer, but it's just because it's such a slither, I'm going to go in my special snips. Now because it's bumpy, you might find that you do extra glue. Just going to give that a good press all over. Steph says, my mojo has vanished. Where's it gone? Not a clue. Even Pinterest and YouTube isn't enticing me in any case. I'll come back to that, Steph. You can look at adverts and trade names, etc. to get ideas for shapes and placements. That's a good place to look because designers know all about that. Jenny suggesting a parrot stamp. We did have bird banter, I think it was called, because I remember Ruth doing a demonstration at a live event we went to. Melanie's been busy making... Oh, do you know what I wanted to put on here? You forgot to just shout at me before you. Just put a bit of twine on here. See if I can tuck some under quickly. So I always find if you want to step your card up a bit more, if it's got something lacking, find an embellishment or ribbon, the go-to kind of things to just zhuzh up a card a bit. That and Wink of Stella, but that kind of goes without saying. Wink of Stella, if you don't know, is a kind of glitter pen, basically. It's got very fine glitter in it. So that's fun to make things look really sparkly. So my rules are more knots for boys and bows for girls. So just going to put a bit more glue to make sure this card is sticking down where it should. Give that a moment. And again, it just adds that something. You don't need a lot. You can add a nice little sentiment here. Now, a stamp that I've grabbed out is Label Me Bold. This is a fantastic little set for just adding a tiny sentiment. I would add it there. And because I've cut down a lot of these layers, these white layers, I've got tons of these strips. So I don't like throwing them away. So they're perfect for stamping on those strips. So later, if needs be, we can come back and use those on our project. Card 2, done. Card 3, this was a little bit more tricky because it was so dark, but I will talk you through this process as well. So this was really fun. It had some lovely bright colours in it. Now again, because you've got all those colours and that background, you don't want to kind of cover up the design too much. And in fact, you can leave it as it is with a sentiment. But I had a little play with some circles, and I decided that the black on the black was okay, but it got quite dark and it needed a brighter colour with it. So I introduced more Coastal Cabana because it was a nice match for this colour here. And then I've added back in the purple. Now let's just take away the purple circle so you can see. I found this flower I coloured in. Now it's still looking rather dark, but if I add this is Highland Heather circle, that just helps the flower to stand out. Then I've used some scraps and I've managed to punch out some leaves. And I just think by adding a bit more of an element of that colour into it, it just does something to it. So I'm giving you my reasoning behind what I'm doing. And it's a process, you know, when you're creating, sometimes things happen and they just go pow, and you get the ideas. So my theory behind, somebody's just mentioned about losing their mojo, I think it was Steph, and sometimes you get, like writer's block, we get creator's block. And my theory, look, I've torn this, I think I made this into an envelope, and I salvaged it. My theory with creator's block, or loss of mojo as we like to call it, is that our learning pattern, I think this is a fact, I don't think I've made it completely up. Do you know what, I was going to stick those under there, wasn't I? I wonder if it's too late. It is a bit late. I was too busy talking. My theory is, sorry, I've just noticed people have been commenting and I haven't been catching them at all. My theory is that we learn in waves, like up and down. And so we can't be constantly be creating and learning and doing stuff. You kind of got to give your brain a chance to process things. This became really clear when I did take driving lessons. I don't drive. I took driving lessons, I passed my test, and then I lost confidence. I didn't drive, so I stopped driving basically. And you'd have times where you'd have a really good lesson, things would go really well. Other times, just wasn't happening. It was a bit of a flop, just kept making mistakes. And I think that's the same with creating. You need those kind of times of going, I can't do it, just for your brain to kind of catch up and go, whoa, wait a minute, I've had information overload. I need to just need a break from it. So people have been saying stuff. Gina's had 10 hours working yesterday in the yard. Whoa. Sharon just woke up and have to get ready for work. Gina says her mojo is related to her mood. That can affect it. Is everything close enough to walk to, says Jenny. Sort of, yes. And it's called a husband. He drives. So I've got a smudge on there, but somewhere I've got one of those rubbers that will rub out a... yes, here it is. I realised until you said it just now, and then I had a light bulb moment. What about mojo? And I think the trouble with mojo is we then seek after it, going, where is it? And we, in our desperation, we look at Pinterest and YouTube, and sometimes it works. Sometimes your brain is ready to go, yeah, just needed inspiration. Other times it goes, no, not ready. Don't want to hear about it. And I think it's healthy. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to go, do you know what? I'm not in a creative mood right now. And sometimes it's good to have other crafts as well, switch your mind off one particular craft. It's since I made them 37 cards at my local hospital, I'm just like, nope, can't bother. That's fine. And you know what? Allow yourself, just go, that is fine, and take a break. And he says she can't imagine not driving. Yeah, so there are definitely times where I'm like, I wish I could drive, but there's no point having 2 cars in our household. It would cost too much, couldn't afford to do it. So I accept the fact, and that's it. And there's bus services and train services. So because we've got a lot of dark colours going on, let me just quickly show you something. If I then went ahead and put this on a black card, I mean, a goth would like it, yeah, but it's very dark. It needs a bit of white space, so I'm just going to clean it off by putting it on a bit of white, just to go, give it a chance to breathe, freshen it up a bit, and to let the kind of design speak for itself. I think if you put more black at it, it might get a bit lost. If you start using one of these colours, your eyes will focus on that rather than the picture as a whole. Okay, this next one is one of my faves, and it's one of the last ones I've put together. Yes, I will show you this one now. Look, I really like this one. So this started off as a piece of that, and so I just did the design on the diagonal, and because I've got some scrap silver leaves in here, it made me think, oh, I can make this really girly and put some silver sparkle in the back. Yes, I've cut a big chunk out because it means that I've got a nice big chunk for another project. And when you're doing cards, it kind of saves on the bulk. Now, if you follow me, you'll be used to me saying that. If you're new to my channel, you can have that one on me. Now, I'm just going to line up my card on the grid paper because I'm a bit of a stickler working at an angle. In fact, my grid paper's at an angle, which doesn't help. But it just helps me to get some kind of guideline to know that that's straight. Jenny says she didn't get her license till she was 24. Being creative can take a lot out of you. Yeah. you like the diagonal design. I go months without making cards and then I just start back up again non-stop. Or tell you what, sometimes I do is like have evenings of, I use YouTube probably more than I do Pinterest, because I try and get ideas for my classes and things. And yeah, I don't know, I do use Pinterest a bit, but I do tend to use YouTube more because I don't want the idea, I want the technical side of things. Jenny's spent 3 days making, oh right, it's just explained. Somebody what you did. Okay, cool. Just making sure I'm catching up with all the comments. Okay, so I've got 3 daisy designs here. I've got a flat design and I've curled these up using a pair of tweezers. No, those are my curly tweezers. Where's my straight one? So I put these in between my tweezers. Oh, you can't see. Like that, and literally bent, and it gives you this really cool ridge down the middle. So I've got a flat one and then the 3D type daisy, which is going to sit on top. Now I've got 3 colours, a darker blue, which is the Coastal Cabana. I've got, what's it called? Pool Party, which is a lovely softer blue. And then this lilac one, which is called Purple Posy. Now, because I've got my 2 bluey ones, I've got that, I'm going to sit the lilac one in the middle. Now these are quite nice for overlapping, so you know, don't worry about the fact that you think, oh, they're not going to fit on. This is very much about overlapping and fitting flowers in, just making it look kind of as natural as possible. I did a massive squidge then. I am trying to keep up with your comments, but I'm also going to just kind of carry on and let you chat as well, so that I can explain what I'm doing. It's lovely to have your company, everybody. Thank you for hopping on. And shout, if you're new on my channel, just go, me, I'm new, and you'll get a lovely warm welcome from people that follow me regularly. So I'm turning this and offsetting it because I want it to look more flowery, if that makes sense, more built up like a flower. Let's just twist it. So these are all out of my scrapbox, things that I've cut previously that just haven't been used. And what I love about making up scrap cards is that you end up with cards that you would have never made before. I love that about it. So I've got my couple of silver leaves that I want to put on each end, I know that much. Fullness of a flower. Yes, that makes it sound lovely, Cindy. Just put a dab of glue at the bottom. It's stuck in there somewhere. I was tempted to use hot glue, but I just think actually with liquid glue it can be a bit easier. There we go. So we've got our 2. Uh-oh, don't tell me I've lost one of those. I'm sure I had 3 of those. Where's that flower gone? I'm sure I had 3 of those. Where's that gone now? Okay, do you know what? It's not meant to be. Got 2. Right, we'll carry on. I wanted to stick these flowers in behind here. Might just turn up. It took me, I lost a butterfly the other day. It took absolutely ages for it to reappear again. And that was after searching for it. Under you tuck. Come on, flower. Up you come. So these are, I used to love this stamp set. It was called, oh, I thought I found it. So they were supposed to go in the middle. What is one to do? Have I broken my nail as well? Oh, great. Okay, so we won't be using those. I'm not sure. Right, do you know what? We're going to leave that for now. It does need something, so I'll just have a little come back to that. And here's a gold bee that I cut out. So just checking the floor because that's a good place to start when things go missing. Okay, I'm going to leave that to the side and hope that something turns up, and I'll come to that. Because I think it needs that pop of yellow, because we've got the gold there. Just need something. So I've carried on with that diagonal design to kind of match the pattern there. So if you're just joining, or if you've missed, we've done this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we're using up all these lovely backgrounds that I made yesterday on my YouTube live. So do go back and check that. Okay, let's roll on to the next card. So another kind of girly card. Let me just check if I'm going to mount this on some white. Or whether we're going to go black and be daring. Might be a bit too dark. Let's have a look. Now I think you can kind of afford to go black on this card because it's got enough, the colours aren't too dark. So unlike this purpley one where the colours seemed quite dark, we've got this background here that kind of acts as your white space, as your bright space. So this was done, and it's still smooth and soft, using it's called a shaving foam technique, and you use inks and you drop them into shaving foam and you swirl it around like marbling. You scrape off the shaving foam and it leaves the mark of the ink on the paper, which is really fun to do. I think these might have been made by my kids. Since they're not using it, it was in my stash. So we're just going to lay that one down on the black. I do like having a border, it just helps to frame things. Let's move you over so you can see. Then, okay, so I had a strip of this to use. So I'm thinking a strip down the left side, it's usually my go-to. So I've got my strip, my circle, my focal point, and then we're just going to add a bit more to it to jazz it up. So I'm going to go in with these daisies, which I think I'll go underneath the circle because they're not the focal point, these are just the accent. Okay. This really reminds me of those kind of, is it 50s kind of, you know, rockabilly skirts, that kind of thing. This one's full of glitter. It's a very kind of girly, pretty kind of, that sort of thing. Again, I think I'm just going to leave the centre. I can imagine a sentiment, if you stamp a sentiment on that pink, matching pink card. Oh, it glitters, it sparkles. And then you can add the sentiment on, like a birthday sentiment or something like that. There we go. Right, let me just check if I've missed any. Oh, Ellie says, I wouldn't have thought of putting daisies with that background. Hi, Levine. Sorry, totally missing the comments. Okay. Did you mean this card, daisies in the background? Because I've raided my scrap drawer. That is why. Like, I wouldn't have had these daisies had I. I was trying to make like this kind of full daisy card and it just wasn't working, so I gave up and used less daisies. My design wasn't coming together, so I've got quite a few of these in my scrap drawer. Gina says, looking pretty, thank you. They're all so different. They're all like really different. There's a new way of marbling. Saw it on YouTube. 2 ink drop marbles in 2 drops of ink. 2 drops of ink drop marbles in shake to cover. Place white card and stamp cases gently. Yes, I've seen that technique. So there's marbling using actual marbles as well. Look, I've not moved my daisies over it now. That's okay, because I've got that texture underneath, it's letting me lift those daisies. That's why you might need a bit of extra glue, like I said before. So, I mean, I can add dimensionals on this top pop things up. In fact, we could just do that to this one, couldn't we? I've got these Stampin' Up! Do these black dimensional, so normally they come in white, which you can get also. But if you're using dark cardstock like this, you look to the side and you're like, whoa, what's that? Now you won't go, what's that? You'll go, oh. I know you don't see them, but just look, really helps. Ellie bought her marbles. I hope you haven't lost them yet, Ellie. So yeah, you get marbles and you can, I've done it, you can do it with paint and with golf balls as well. We've done children before. This, I like this one. So this is, I really like this design. This was the play that I had doing using the sprinkles. Now somebody left a comment on my last video when I made these backgrounds saying the more that I use these, the more it makes them want to buy them. And I just think sprinkles are more than just the colours, that, you know, more than those 6 colours. So you've got these lovely kind of graduation of colour. Excuse me. And then I had to go colouring in some flowers with the same palette of colours of the pigment powders. But I gold embossed it first. So what happens is it acts as a resist and stays in the line. You get this beautiful, colourful flowers. Now again, we don't want to completely cover up the design, but I'm going to add a few more bits to it. So I want to introduce my strip. And I've got a pink strip there as well. So I'm thinking pink strip, colourful strip, and then my flowers on top. Yes, you will cover a bit of your design, but you want it to kind of flow. Then I've had some scrap sparkly gold and I was like, oh, yes, we need some more. Just needed something to add a bit more. So I'm going to have some sprigs coming out. So if you're joining, I'm just going to explain the fact that I've made these backgrounds yesterday, and these cards I'm putting together, I've got bits and pieces of scraps from previous projects, so I do like to try and use them up when I can, if and when I can. And I thought this was a great opportunity to use them up to make something new. It's like recycling. It's great, reusing and recycling. So you can check out how I made these backgrounds. It was live yesterday. It's rather exciting. Right, comments. Hi, Tina. I am well, thank you. Now, what we've also got here is our colours kind of match these. So I could go the same, or I could turn it so I got the opposite. But I think I prefer it sort of the matching way. Now that pink card is disappearing behind it a little bit, but that's okay. We'll carry on. Cindy says, Esther, you make it look purposely done. Mine looks tacky. Why is it looking tacky? Look at it and say, why does it look tacky? Now, this is only because I've had a play beforehand and you're getting the best of the best. You've got to get to that point of going, yes, that works. Why does it work? Hi, Donna. Great to see you. So for this, again, because we've got such a dark background and I want this to be the focal point, and I know that I don't want to cover it all, I'm adding in the flowers. And sometimes it's about stripping it back and keeping things a bit more simple. Now, because I know that I want to add in those gold sprigs, I'm not going to glue completely to the ends, okay? So we're making up some scrap cards tonight, and I'll just go through what we've made in a minute. So I'm just going to, and also, do you know my secret? Do you want to know my secret? Is metallics. If in doubt, add a bit of metallic. It just does something. It helps things to really pop. And it just adds a bit of something. I don't know what it is, luxury or something. I don't know. Somebody can tell me, but that is my secret. If in doubt, add a bit of sparkle. Now, I'm not a big sparkly fan, not like bling, blingy, bling, bling. Not that kind of sparkle, but I do, you know, a touch of something. I will stick those down in a minute. Yes, thank you, Donna. Glam it up a bit. So that has got sparkle. My rockabilly card, I'm going to call it that. This one, I don't know what it's called. This doesn't have sparkle. This one had sparkle on it. Now, I'm bothered about the centres. We'll have to... Is that the missing one? I think I found it. Yay! Let's stick that down. See, the difference this makes having centres in them. Oops, come back. There we go. Look at that. Pop of yellow. So I would say stick to rules. Maybe a hint of metallic. Stick to a colour scheme. If it doesn't work, strip it back. The other thing that sometimes works for me is change the layout. If a layout's not working, change it in the opposite direction. This doesn't have metallic because it's, and nor does this one, because we're aiming for the masculine market. So let's get these gold sprigs stuck down. I don't know what accent that was, don't ask. I'm just going to go a bit heavy with the glue to make sure that it sticks like that. It is trying to run my other projects. Oh, this Friday is exciting because we've got a video hop happening and it's a masculine theme. I know you lot struggle with masculine sometimes. Those pesky masculine cards we've got to make. There we go. Tuck them in. See the difference a little bit of sparklage makes. What a difference the sparkle makes. Donna's asking, how did you do the background on this card of our mask? Did you emboss with black embossing powder? No, it's the opposite, Donna. If you had, I did a YouTube live yesterday. That's interesting that your eye is going to the black rather than the opposite colour. So all these, the reason why I'm doing my scrap cards is to use up the paper I made yesterday. So I did a live yesterday using embossing paste with pigment sprinkles. It's a bit of a revelation. I was like, I really want to try it, and I did it, and it seemed to work really well. So all these backgrounds here are made... Okay, the black ink over the white emboss. Embossing paste. Embossing paste with pigment sprinkles. All of this is pigment sprinkles. So you've got this really cool orangey colour here. And this kind of could make some of those colours using, or having such clear colour using, if we just used our re-inkers. But because of pigment sprinkles, that's how they were made. So yes, it was on black paper with the paste spread. Thank you, Jenny. Not very good at explaining myself sometimes. I get too excited. Okay. I never, Anna. Hi, Denise. Okay with the paste. How many techniques have I said wrong each time? Good guess, though. Thank you for guessing. Right, again, so we tried an ombre effect with the Bermuda Bay and Granny Apple Green, which worked quite well with this because we used two colours. So here I have, I do like this panda, adorable. So I've got panda, we've got our focal, we've got a background, but we can afford to cover him up a bit because the background is the same. And then this I did a while ago, but this kind of needed a border. Once I had everything on it, it just felt like it needed something. So I'm going to cut that down and have it in the background for some extra texture. Yeah, well done for trying to guess. At least you guessed. Nobody else bothered guessing. I just told them. They cheated. This is our lovely little mini trimmer. I hope this comes into the new catalogue. It is super handy, super sharp. Oh! It's okay. Something got knocked into my bin just then. Okay. Now, if I was being really frugal, I could cut out the middle of that, which is what I've done with everything else. But do you know what? I'm happy to cover that. It's in my scrap drawer. It's been sitting there for a little while. Goodbye. was an experiment when I first, can you tell, when I first got the pigment sprinkles, got a bit heavy with the sprinklage. Right, so Mr. Panda is going to sit in this lovely halo. Again, you know, you've got your focal point, you've got your circles, you've got your background. That's another tip for, was it Cindy that was saying she gets into a hot mess? So just remember a few rules to help you on your way. Now, and to make a difference, I'm just going to bring this down a bit so it's not like a full circle. Did you demo? Oh, Sheila's talking about things the demos have seen. The demos have seen something exciting coming our way, there is something exciting coming our way, but we're not going to say too much about it because customers can't see it. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, you could join my team, then I'll tell you. For this particular one, I think it's going to go in the middle. Ellie. Right. So these I've cut up from similar paper. So I had some experiments I've done before, and I'm just going to pop these leaves. So we've got our focal point. These are going to be used as our embellishments. I've got a few of these flowers. So these got black in them already, which goes with the card, and it's got a pop of yellow. So let's get these stuck down in the back. So not detracting from our focal point, but adding to it, just accenting it. And I've tried not to introduce too many more new scraps. So I have allowed myself I'm just bringing in my circle to see how far I go. I did allow myself the leaf and the sprig punch. And just to be able to cut down and add some elements. Oh, the pandas are so sweet. Again, another borrowed set, which has now gone back to its rightful owner. And instead, I've got some new sets to play with. Oh dear. So, Ellie, if you go onto your demo page, it's all on there. So I think pandas and these leaves just go hand in hand. Okay, a little bit too over enthusiastic there, but there we go. We're going with it. Because like I said, it's the accent, it's not the focal point. So we'll just stick them over the leaves. Now with these flowers, in order to help them just pop a little bit, I'm going to use the end of my Tombow glue and squish it into the mat, and this just creates a bit of more of a 3D look to them. So we're going to go for 3 flowers up here. One of these are a bit lighter. That lighter one can go down there. Then if you wanted to, you could add rhinestones in the centre. In fact, it might feel the need for a bit of rhinestonage. The catalogue isn't there. Oh, I know. I saw a notification to say that our CEO of Stampin' Up was doing a live, and I was like, oh, no, she can't. I'm about to do a YouTube live. I was like, oh, I'll just catch up later. It's fine. I've only got literally a few hours to wait. So I've got me some rhinestones here. Oh, and I haven't got my pens in the kitchen. So I'm going to stick these down with the view of colouring them in later. I think it's 3rd June, isn't it? I don't know. I had 3rd in my head. I don't know if that's right though. That the new catalogue will come out to customers. Okay, again, because we've got a lot of black going on, I'm reckoning if this goes on black, it's just too dark. We have got our bit of white space, but I'm thinking, let's just crease this down. Oh, sorry, tomorrow it's going live. We'll see the PDF. Look at that. It just, having white space just helps bring it alive a bit. Okay. I hope I've got enough white card. I might need to. So the back of this, you're probably wondering, it is a postcard, which was watercolour paper. So, okay, I'm glad I'm doing this because you know what usually happens? I end up making stuff and it sits on my desk or my craft trolley and it doesn't get used for a little while. So it's quite nice to actually be proactive and go, right, you know what, we're going to use this. I think I'm joining a different conversation. Hi, Bobby. Right, so let's just do a hi there, Cheryl. Quick recap for those joining late. What's your excuse? Why are you late? We're using these backgrounds that we created yesterday. So look how many backgrounds we created. We created a lot of backgrounds. And I'm still not done. I'm sorry, but if you want to stick around, I'm still... Cheryl's apologising. This is fun. This is really fun. So there's this background, and then I've had this baby for ages, and look how I coloured it. I've given it purple hair, this kind of turquoisey romper, and orange bouncer. Oh, Bobby, that is exciting news. Bobby might be looking for a house. So I had this, had it attached to string so that it could dangle from a card if it wanted to, although it's not doing it at the moment. But yeah, that was the idea. So I can leave that string there. And then I found this butterfly and I was going to have it floating around. And then I thought, what happens if I stick the wings, look, behind the baby? This, I can't wait to go to somebody like a complete alternative baby card. So let's just take baby out of the equation a second. We're going to stick the butterfly wings behind it. Again, this doesn't need a lot more. You've got your focal point down the left. You've got the focal point of the baby. We're adding the wings. It's going to look fab. Ellie says, it reminds me of the day I brought out all my backgrounds and scraps. I'll have to do it again. Do it again. I can't remember which way this is going. So I'm just going to, I want it to kind of look almost fairy wing-like. So not too much like a butterfly, but more like a fairy. So I've literally cut down the centre of the wings. Oh, look. I think that is so cute. Do you guys think that's adorable, or is it just me and my crazy head? I think it's so sweet. And then I was like, oh, look, touch of glitter. I had 2 of these and I couldn't find a third one. So I thought, oh, let's just, if we just hide a glitter flower underneath like that. And I've just realised I've got a little leaf left here. We could pop the leaf, see? Don't throw those scraps away. Even that little leaf came in handy. So this is some old glitter paper. And you'll find, now I've cut my nails, so this is going to be tricky. It's got a layer of like a plastic layer on the back. If you peel that layer off and reveal that kind of surface, or even an angel, it could be an angel, we've got this nice rough surface, and it just makes it a bit more porous for when we're sticking the glitter card down. So the newer stuff is a lot better and we don't have that issue. But if you've got some of the older coloured stuff, like that lovely blue glitter, this has got I can recognise that this is sticky already. I put some sticky paper on the back of that, so he can pop down. Okay, now to make this baby swing, I'm thinking I might just pop it on some dimensional so it's lifted up from the card, because it keeps knocking into the paste at the moment. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back, but I'm not going to take off the sticky. I'm going to leave the sticky on. Now, hopefully nobody's going to turn it over and go, how do they do that? Hey, Deborah, good to see you. Bit of a marathon card making sesh tonight. So I'm going to let that swing, just checking. Right, and now let's have a look. I might introduce it onto a black background, or I was thinking about In fact, I might nick it from another card that I'm going to do later. I was thinking about purple. Yes, that's better to go with baby's hair. So let's see. We don't need all this string attached. No strings attached. Ha 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 ha. Very funny, not. Okay, I'm going to chop that off, and I've got a nice bit of string for later. She's looking for some appropriate adhesive. This is what I'm looking for. One-handed movement. She's going in with the tape, and we want to stick it kind of, near the top so that you can't see. So this is double-sided tape, but it's just nice and sticky. So we've got the dangler at the front. Can you see it? Sorry, it gets a bit addictive. Moving cards are a bit addictive. So we've got our focal point, we've got our embellishment, and we've got our border. I think this is going to be one of my faves. Now we can take this double-sided tape off, because then we can use it for sticking the card. Hi, Kathleen. Can't wait to see, she says. Okay. I'm using up yesterday's makes to make, oh no, sticking to everything now. I like that. Is this like completely alternative or what? I mean, this would just suit like I can just imagine the kind of parent that it could go to, like an alternative, kind of really hippie type. It might have been really stereotypical, sorry. I love that. I think it's cute. Right. Okay. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards we've done already, and I'm not done. Did the pearlescent sheen come through? Now tell me, was it on the green leaf? Was it on that one that we did, the pearlescent? You'll have to answer me that. Okay, so more. I've got one more after this, methinks. Okay. So this is a background I did absolutely ages ago on glossy card, and I think I used hand sanitizer, believe it or not. I'm on a roll. I'm going to get these done, see if we can keep it under the hour. And this was kind of like sticking it together and smushing it, I think, across the page. This was one that we did yesterday. So again, got your big focal point. You don't need lots of things to cover this, okay? So bring out the daisies, and I might do what I did before, using the tweezers and just bending it over the tweezer so it creates that ridge in the middle, and then keep the second daisy flat so that you've got one flat one and then you've got your dimensional one on the top. So just bending it over to make that ridge. If you've got smaller headed tweezers, you might be able to twist it. Twist. So I got out, I don't know why I've got a lot of black circles all the same size, but I do in my scraps. And it was too big, so I wanted to cut it down. In fact, no, it wasn't that one. I think I used that circle on another project. And it's difficult to line it up when you're punching a circle out of a bigger circle, but I like this. And it's that kind of retro look to it. I haven't used that stamp set, so I might use it now. So we're going for background. Is this a card? Yeah, it didn't look like it was. I've cut the background down. That's going to go there, and then I'll show you the rest. Wait, don't run away now. I need you. No worries, Monica. You stay safe as well, and thank you very much for sticking around. I am coming to an end. It has been a bit of a marathon card making session, but look how many cards we've got done in such a, honestly, just take the time to sort your scraps out beforehand and think about how you want to lay out your design, and it just means that you can sit down and enjoy the process of then sticking it together. Now this would be a great thing in normal circumstances if you were to go on holiday and you want to do some card making, but you can't take all your bulk stuff with you. Take little card kits. That's okay, Ellie. I know time's ticking on. Lovely to have your company. So what I would do is put your bits together, lay them out how you'd want them to go, and then take a photograph, but don't stick them down. Just take a photo of what you've done. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ellie. Take care, and I'll try and remember to message you afterwards as well. Have a good rest. So I'm sticking down my circle because I'm not going to completely cover up that really fun design in the background. I got my funky daisy to go on, and then I've got this strip of black to go across. But I was talking earlier about this stamp set, and I'm now thinking, let's see if a white strip, it's not quite thin enough. I was hoping that would, see if this is any thinner. That's a lovely thing to say, Deborah. Be gracious to yourself. I suppose it doesn't matter about the thickness, really. Let's just do a... I think this is a happy birthday card, don't you think? I think this is like a fun, retro... Let's celebrate birthdays. Okay, so this stamp set, the... my writing looks a bit bent on mine, I don't know why. I'm just going to go for the kill, as it were. Stamp on there, see what we got. Yeah, baby. Yeah, that worked. I'm just going to trim it down, actually. Use snips. Now, because it's a straight edge, you just follow the line. Keep your scissors straight, okay? It's not too much to ask. And because it's such a small size, it's a bit fiddly trying to get it in the trimmer, to be honest. So just do a quick snip of there. Oh, that is true. Now I'm thinking now, let's just have a quick look at the white. I'm thinking maybe the black. Oh, maybe we don't even need that, and just have that. I'm liking that, everybody. Let's go for it. Right. Stick that down. Stick our daisy down. Right, who's ready for the last one? Oh, I've got 2 minutes. Okay, this isn't going to take 2 minutes, I'm afraid. It's just going to take a little while longer. Let me just quickly see what it's going to look like on the white card. Yeah, it definitely needs a coloured card. I wonder if it's going to work too dark on there. I've used the colour that I wanted. It has a nice bohemian feel. Ooh, what the last one? Just bear with me 2 ticks. I'm using it to my rich raspberry. There you are. Having the unicorn combo. This is when you realise that you're running out of cards. Getting low on cardstock. Excuse me while I quick as can be. Oh, I nearly cut it then. Never hurry when you're crafting. You make mistakes. Okay. So with this one, see all these, it's really interesting looking for your scraps because all these memories come back. I remember doing this background paper, which I've now chopped. Sometimes when things are in like a big piece, they're a bit overwhelming, but when you chop them down, it helps to break it up a bit. So this is the background, and because the background's the same, I am going to cover this up a bit. I've just been asked about what sleeve are you using. So I've bought these clear pockets with a business card holder bit at the front so that I can put in a sample of the card, a label, and I've started to put in the code from the packet. And normally I'll have one of these sleeves with any scraps in there as well, but I've taken mine out because I'm using it at the moment, and like they're a popper pocket like that, and I'm finding that system working really well for me. So this was in my scrap, and she is going to feature on the front of my card. I might well colour it in. Look what else is appearing. The daisies are back because I have tons of the daisy. So let's just stop fiddling and we're going to stick. I keep having to make new card bases. I don't know who's using them up, says Navarana. I'm on a bit of a mission to keep ordering cards at the moment because I'm using up my coloured cardstock a lot at the moment, and I think once I get that all out the way, then I can start concentrating on ordering nice new things like stamps and other things I want to play with. Okay, so just trim that bit down, it's a bit long. Okay, let's get this down. Squiggle wiggle. And then give it a bit of a border. I don't want to come over too much on this side because we've already got something happening over there. And then I'm thinking I might pop up this. Oh, made, it says on the back. I wonder what I was trying to say then. Don't know what that's from. So I'm going to leave a gap, if you've noticed, around the edges because I know that I want to add in the flowers and the leaves. So I'm going to pop it over, have it as my focal point. Remember, we talked about having a focal point. And then before you commit, just kind of get a rough idea where you want your... Now, because these normally come in like a double sprig, but because I've had a thin piece of paper, I've cut one sprig down. So let's get these daisies stuck in. Another quite fun girly card. So the backgrounds just started with smaller bits of paper, and because of those backgrounds and because of accumulating bits and bobs of scraps, they've turned into these cards. So just because something's not working out, it doesn't mean you have to chuck it away. It will turn magically into another whole card. So sorry, this is going to be a little bit tedious, just getting these in here. But it just takes, because I've got single prongs rather than double ones, it's going to... But I mean, I would have not have put this colour combination together. It's only because of inspiration from that background paper that I've got there that I decided I was Blushing Bride and Rich Razzleberry. So who knew, right? The colours work together. But because I've got my element of white in there, it helps just to break things down a bit. So I think he has to go up there. Now I've not got my blends to hand. I think I might just add a little touch of colour to the unicorn. I could colour him in later. In fact, if you don't mind hanging on for a couple of more seconds, I'll show you another way of colouring it in. Blushing Bride. And we've got Rich Razzleberry, which is in this box that doesn't want to come out. Come on, come out and play. Sorry for the banging. It's the lamp hitting the thingy. Right, really quickly. I keep saying that and then I carry on, don't I? So I haven't got my blends to hand, but I've got blender pens. So these are like an invisible ink that will here. Just going to add a bit of colour to the unicorn. These pens. I'm just going to add a little bit of, because I still want a bit of white in there. I don't want it completely covered. Sorry, My voice dipped because of concentrating. And then I'm going to add a bit of the pinky colour. Give it some highlights. There you go, and then just add in a touch of this lovely, oh, this lovely colour. Pretty peacock. I'm going to add a little bit to the leaves as if they're the flowers rather as if they're leaves. Okay? I'm a unicorn stylist. Now, I've been called many things in my life. Okay, and then because it is a unicorn, she says not being able to find what she's looking for. All unicorns need Wink of Stella. So Wink of Stella, ladies and gents, if you don't know, look, can you see that? If you can't, it means I need to add some more. We've got to have glittery hair unicorn. I can't just have, sorry, it's law. The comments are in the way, I can't see if it's shining or not. There, okay, are you ready for the rerun? And I think there's so many here. I'd love to know which ones are your faves, if you can possibly. Let's do this, okay. So let's find number one. Number one. Number two. Number three. Number four. Number five. Number six. Number seven. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Could make the whole horse glitter. Yes, you could. Oh man. So that is crazy. 10 cards with all those completely different cards from those fun backgrounds and scraps that I had in my drawer. Go and make 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Love the background on number 3. It's really interesting, you know, everyone's got their different tastes. So if I had to choose number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, interesting. I think that's right. I think I've counted that right. I am exhausted. I've just done a Facebook Live if you want to head over and see what I've done there. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. You like the spots? It's a lot of you going for the 2. That's really interesting. That isn't even a favourite of mine. I do like the swinging groovy baby. I like that one and I like that one. 2, 9 and 7. A lot of people like, is it the panda? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do people like the panda? Is that what you're after? Sting. Thank you so much, everyone. I won't keep it any longer. I have to put my hair up. Everyone loves the panda. It gets a bit warm with all the lights on, so I like to put my hair up, but then I'm on camera. I like to put it back down again. So vain. So vain. Thank you if you're catching this on replay. Just know that you can actually fast forward YouTube videos. Just saying. Navarana says they're all great now, just to find the right recipient. Absolutely. Thank you, Deborah. She says beautiful work. And they're so personal, aren't they? I think I definitely choose cards depending on the person. So I have tried to do a bit of a catalogue system this year where I've already selected cards for the years of the birthdays. Now before I used to make specifically for people for their birthday. I mean, if it's a special one, it's obviously different. So this would just go into my pile of birthday cards to give away, or whatever, you know, cards to give away. Thank you, everybody. It's been a great night. Absolutely, Kathleen, they're all one of a kind. You'll never get the same again, even if you try to recreate it. So amazing. I've surprised myself. It's so nice to get into card making and crafting. It's such a brilliant hobby because you get to share the love by sending your creations to people and letting them enjoy it as well. And it's the process of making stuff from almost nothing, from paper, to be able to create artwork which is kind of done for you. So when you have the stamps and things like that, you don't need to worry about that. Just using a few techniques, you can make some simple cards. You don't have to be, you know. So do consider joining my team, and you too can purchase and use these lovely things, or you could just be a customer. You can just purchase some of these lovely items that I've used to make the cards. Thank you, Deborah. I know that if I didn't make the cards straight away, these would have gone straight into my scrap drawer and would have found its way with the other scraps. So I'm really glad that I managed to get on and use those today and had time to do it, which is great. No worries, Carol. I'm going to head off now because I've been on here long enough, taking up your time, and I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button. Catch me again. Take care. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Lots of love. Take care. Stay safe and well, please. Okay. Night, everybody. Good night.